Crise sanitaire. Dans son baromètre annuel de la confiance politique, le CEVIPOF, le Centre de recherche de Sciences Po, dévoile une grande lassitude et de la morosité. Gestion de la crise sanitaire. Alors comment cette crise sanitaire a-t-elle changé la donne? Le cas français est-il un cas à part en Europe? Pour en parler ce soir, deux invités. Martial Foucault, le directeur du CEVIPOF, bonsoir. Et Raoul Magny-Berton, professeur de sciences politiques à l'UB de Grenoble. Bonsoir à vous.
Bonsoir.
On va donc débuter avec cette étude du CEVIPOF dévoilée hier qui est riche d'enseignements. Martial Foucault, directeur du Centre de recherche de Sciences Po. Comment on pourrait définir l'état d'esprit des Français un an après le début de la crise sanitaire?
Je crois que vous l'avez bien résumé. On a deux indicateurs très importants qui sont en forte augmentation par rapport à la même enquête produite l'an passé. C'est sentiment de lassitude suivi de morosité. Et la lassitude, c'est un phénomène nouveau. On ne l'observait pas les années passées, même au cœur des premières grandes crises. Cette enquête a démarré en 2009, au lendemain de la crise financière. Le sentiment de lassitude n'était pas prévalent, pour une raison évidente. Ça fait maintenant, je l'ai dit, près d'un an que les Français sont dans cette situation un peu sous cloche au gré des différentes mesures sanitaires. Et puis, je dirais que la lassitude, il y a un phénomène qui pour moi est très préoccupant, c'est-à-dire que c'est pas homogène dans l'ensemble de la population française. J'ai pu remarquer qu'il y avait de grandes différences entre les hommes et les femmes. Les femmes manifestent davantage, expriment davantage ce sentiment de lassitude que les hommes, les personnes âgées, encore plus fort que les jeunes. Mais les jeunes, c'est près de 30% d'entre eux, moins de 24 ans, qui ont aussi ce sentiment de lassitude. Il y a aussi une curiosité. Les personnes les plus diplômées, voire les très diplômées, sont les plus exposées à cette lassitude. Donc je crois que c'est une forme d'épuisement, la lassitude, quand on essaye de comprendre ce que renvoie ce terme de lassitude, un état de fatigue mentale, morale, affective. On a beaucoup parlé des souffrances de certaines catégories sociales. Et puis, je dirais que c'est cette manière de vivre de façon mécanique, il n'y a pas d'horizon, c'est l'incertitude. Et les Français ressentent cette impossibilité, en quelque sorte, de pouvoir penser, de pouvoir ressentir des émotions. Et au fond, les personnes agissent comme si tout leur était imposé. Et donc, on a beaucoup parlé de la résilience, mais la résilience ne permet pas de passer à travers cette crise. On voit bien que en contrepartie de cette résilience, il y a aujourd'hui cette lassitude.
Et il y a aussi la peur, quand on regarde les graphiques, cette peur recule par rapport au baromètre que vous aviez effectué pendant le premier confinement. Que peut-on dire de cela, de cette peur qui recule?
La peur, c'est pour moi une émotion très très importante parce qu'on la compare souvent à deux autres émotions, à savoir l'enthousiasme ou la colère. Et il faut bien voir que la peur, c'est une prédisposition psychologique, subjective, qui a besoin d'un choc pour être réveillé, pour être activé. Et ce choc s'est produit il y a un an, mais il ne cesse de se poursuivre parce qu'au fond, et on le voit en France, mais aussi dans les autres pays européens que nous avons enquêtés, c'est l'absence d'horizon. C'est le fait que des mesures sont en permanence modifiées. Et donc, le fait qu'on soit dans une incertitude totale entretient fortement la peur. Et la peur, c'est quel mécanisme psychologique? C'est très simple. Quand des gens sont traversés d'anxiété, ça produit un phénomène où on est obligé de réviser ses croyances sur ce que l'on pensait connaître d'une situation et qui est bouleversée sans cesse. Et donc cette peur, moi quand je le regarde d'un point de vue politique, produit aussi un certain nombre d'effets, de conséquences qu'il va falloir regarder avec beaucoup d'attention au regard des prochaines échéances électorales en France, mais aussi en Allemagne. On sait qu'en général la peur, c'est un puissant ressort, je dirais, du statu quo. Quand on a peur, on ne souhaite pas le changement. À l'inverse, la colère produit un phénomène inverse qui contribue à ce que finalement on veuille faire table rase de tout ce qui a été engagé comme action publique. Et là, on va davantage s'orienter sur les extrêmes d'un continuum politique, extrême gauche ou extrême droite.
Alors, cette photographie du moral et de la confiance des Français est mise en perspective, vous l'avez dit, avec d'autres pays, 3 de nos voisins européens, l'Allemagne, le Royaume-Uni, et pour la première fois, l'Italie. Autant de pays qui, on le sait, n'ont pas été épargnés par l'épidémie. Raoul Mani-Berton, j'aimerais vous donner la parole. Vous effectuez un travail de comparaison de la gestion de la crise sanitaire entre les États européens et sur la façon dont les mesures prises par les gouvernements sont acceptées, reçues par les populations. Comment vous avez, vous, analysé cette étude et notamment le fait que les Allemands et les Britanniques, par exemple, sont beaucoup plus sereins que les Français?
Oui, eh bien, parce que, oui, donc on a conduit cette étude où on a une personne d'une université dans chaque pays d'Europe et qui collecte l'ensemble des mesures qui sont prises. Donc déjà, ce qu'on a pu voir, c'est qu'en France, les mesures sont extrêmement dures par rapport aux voisins. Elles ressemblent davantage à celles qui sont prises dans les pays de l'Est, comme la Pologne ou la Bulgarie ou la Hongrie, plutôt que les pays de l'Ouest. Et d'autre part, aussi le vocabulaire utilisé, c'est-à-dire un vocabulaire très martial, de dire il faut gagner cette guerre, c'est également comparable avec les pays de l'Est, alors qu'il a été largement rejeté en Allemagne, en Belgique, aux Pays-Bas, dans les pays nordiques. Donc ça, c'est déjà quelque chose qui est assez fort, c'est-à-dire on a des mesures très très dures dans un contexte où le gouvernement commence ces mesures avec un score de popularité qui est par rapport aux autres pays d'Europe beaucoup plus bas.
So the uranium plant's running hot
alors, les
right
deux
now.
choses sont potentiellement liées parce que ce qu'on observe aussi, c'est que
Ventilation of the building off,
vous
ventilation
savez,
of the stairwells
ce
off,
genre
ventilation of the elevators off.
de
And we
crise
got
fait que
idiots
si on a une
riding
population
up and
qui a
down the
confiance
elevators for no
dans le
fucking
gouvernement,
reason, yelling at
le
other
gouvernement
people
peut ne pas
because they're there.
prendre des mesures très restrictives, mais simplement donner des
I'm the person getting yelled
recommandations. Si vous dites gardez les distances et tout le monde les garde, ça suffit en fait largement. Donc en fait, un gouvernement qui fait face à une population qui se méfie de lui a tendance à être plus restrictif, plus autoritaire, et la conséquence, c'est qu'on se méfie encore plus de lui.
Oui, c'est un peu un effet boule de neige qui n'en finit pas.
C'est un cercle vicieux, exactement, qui produit une situation où le gouvernement sa popularité s'érode assez vite après un premier moment, au moment de la crise où elle était montée, alors que dans les autres pays, elle reste beaucoup plus haute.
Mais Raoul Mani-Berton, comment explique-t-on que, vous disiez, les mesures en France sont beaucoup plus strictes, que les Français semblent accepter plus ces mesures par rapport, par exemple, à nos voisins des Pays-Bas, voire même en Italie, où il y a eu des émeutes là, contre les mesures qui sont un couvre-feu, par exemple, aux Pays-Bas, qui est à 21h.
Effectivement, on peut expliquer ça par le fait qu'en France, les mesures ont décru. C'est-à-dire qu'aujourd'hui, elles sont beaucoup moins fortes, enfin un peu moins fortes que pendant le confinement. Ce qui est pas vrai en Allemagne, aux Pays-Bas et dans d'autres pays du Nord. Mais même aujourd'hui, vous prenez les Pays-Bas, que vous citez, aux Pays-Bas, on est dans le moment où les restrictions sont maximales et pourtant sont moins fortes qu'en France où elles sont plus faibles qu'avant.
Donc tout est relatif.
Donc on a par conséquent, les gens, ils commencent à être pas habitués, c'est-à-dire que tout simplement, ils ont un standard de respect de liberté individuelle aux Pays-Bas qui est beaucoup plus élevé. Et ce qui me frappe, c'est que c'est pas seulement les gens de la rue, mais c'est aussi les juristes. Parce que cette histoire aux Pays-Bas, où ils ont mis pour la première fois un couvre-feu, les Pays-Bas n'ont pas eu de confinement, hein, et ils ont mis un couvre-feu à 21h. Outre que les protestations, le couvre-feu a été cassé aussi par le tribunal et aujourd'hui on attend en cours d'appel. Donc,
excusez-moi,
allez-y.
Alors, je voulais juste revenir sur le cas de la France avec vous, Martial Foucault, et la confiance dans les institutions. On a des données dans cette étude qui sont assez contradictoires, je dirais, parce qu'il y a une méfiance envers les politiques, ça c'est pas nouveau, mais aussi une hausse de confiance dans le gouvernement et dans les institutions en général. Comment on peut un peu décrypter cela?
Il y a deux réponses, mais si vous m'autorisez, je voudrais prolonger la discussion initiée par Raoul Berton, parce que vous soulevez un point qui est très important et qui fait le lien avec le sujet de la confiance. Je crois qu'on ne peut pas comprendre les différences d'acceptation et d'acceptabilité sociale des mesures sanitaires, des injonctions, des mesures de confinement dans tous les pays d'Europe si on ne s'interroge pas sur ce que fait la confiance dans cette situation de crise. Il y a deux types de confiance. Je crois que c'est important de distinguer la confiance politique, et alors là on sait qu'il y a un raz-de-marée, un océan de défiance dans plusieurs pays européens, dont la France en particulier, mais aussi l'Italie. Et puis, il y a une autre forme de confiance qui, elle, est beaucoup plus intéressante pour comprendre l'adhésion, l'obéissance, le respect des mesures sanitaires. C'est la confiance vis-à-vis des autres, ce qu'on appelle la confiance interpersonnelle, la confiance sociale, ce qui produit du capital social. Et là, moi, je remarque quelque chose qui est extrêmement important. La France se singularise comme étant un des seuls pays pour lesquels l'acceptation des mesures sanitaires a été beaucoup plus élevée que dans d'autres pays, en particulier les Pays-Bas, mais aussi les pays du Nord. Comment expliquer ce phénomène? Eh bien,
we said don't block the sidewalk. Two different sets of laws. One's federal, one's municipal. This fucking retard's gonna pretend he doesn't know the difference.
Vous mettez en place un confinement ou des mesures très restrictives.
Oh, someone's yelling out provincial. Yeah, Ontario Disabilities
Parce qu'on a au fond peu besoin d'interaction sociale vis-à-vis des autres. Donc, lorsque vous êtes confiné, ce qui fait votre bonheur personnel n'est plus alimenté dans le rapport à l'autre. Dans des pays comme la Suède, les Pays-Bas, le Danemark, où on a des niveaux de confiance interpersonnelle très élevés, interrompre ce qui fait les interactions sociales suscite énormément de protestations et de contestations. Donc, ça, c'est le premier point qu'il faut garder à l'esprit. Confiance politique, confiance interpersonnelle. Maintenant, vous m'interrogez sur la confiance institutionnelle. Vous avez raison, il y a une forme de contradiction, de paradoxe dans notre dernière enquête, c'est-à-dire qu'on n'a pas observé un décrochage très très fort des Français vis-à-vis de leurs représentants. On le savait, en général, il y avait une distinction. Les Français aiment beaucoup leurs représentants locaux, le maire, le conseiller départemental. Bon, cette fois-ci, on voit que même les représentants nationaux, le gouvernement, les députés, les sénateurs, alors que le Parlement a été quasiment mis sous cloche pendant cette période depuis un an, ils considèrent que le politique n'a pas une responsabilité.
Believe it could help locate,
So the white people, the
identify,
PETA
or
folks,
protect a suspected
wanna
human
shut down-
trafficking victim.
oh,
The bill, if
the
passed,
PETA
would also
people want to
require
shut down
companies that sell sexual
want to shut
services
down the
to publish
uranium
their contact
plant.
information and respond to law enforcement
They
within a
want
set
us to
time
make a
frame.
big ruckus so we can get kicked
The
out of here.
legislation would
but
also increase penalties for those involved in human
they
trafficking
don't give a
cases
fuck
that
about the
interfere
ventilation
with a
there. But we'll
child
get all of
in
those fixed by
protective
figuring this
custody.
thing.
The
It's
Premier
been 9
saying
years, bro. I'm
that
still
the
waiting.
province
I'm
has
not
become
waiting,
a
but-
quote-unquote hub for human trafficking, and this legislation is desperately needed.
Ottawa,
My
Winnipeg,
next guest, at the age of
Vancouver,
13, found herself
and probably
alone,
Newfoundland and Nova
scared,
Scotia.
and living on the streets of Miami.
Removed from
Fast
that,
forward
sure.
to today, Marnie Grundman is an advocate for homeless youth, an author, a motivational speaker,
From Miami.
and she
Holy
joins me
fuck,
on the
I
line.
love this.
Welcome, Marnie.
Yeah, I
Thank you
voted
for
it
having
up
me,
there.
Alan.
At first brush, at first glance, what's your estimation, what's your reaction to this proposed legislation?
I think anything that improves our ability to detect and, charge people who are trafficking, particularly children, but human beings in general, is a step in the right direction. We need to do a whole lot more, but it's something that starts to at least grab the public's attention and makes it easier for police to actually levy charges, which is something that we definitely need.
Can we just talk about the hotel aspect? Because I think for a lot of people that jumped out immediately
Hey, Hotel Rwanda.
as an aspect
Ooh,
of
don't
this
talk about
proposed legislation and the ability for police to get information.
Now the question
Why is
I
that
have,
important from your estimation?
is this
that
one
police
here
have that authority,
considered
that ability?
backwards? Or since it's the
Well,
first one in the
because
bag,
that's where a lot of the
are all of
trafficking
these
is
ones
going on,
backwards?
right? I mean, when you're talking about where are you going to receive those services, for lack of a better word, it's the hotels. And a lot of times, like I live in downtown Toronto,
they're not talking
the
the cheap
hotels know
$40
what's going on,
motels.
but they
They're
don't
talking
really,
like,
you know, they don't really do anything about it because they're one, not required to, and two, I don't think they know what to do about it. So building that relationship with the police and having that requirement in place is also going to empower the hotels
You fucking whore. They've already got rules and laws in place. We need to fight to get a rule that the law already
might use this authority. I'll just read to you from the press release. This is from the provincial government that says it will provide law enforcement with more tools in this particular case. This is the quote, clarifying how and when police services can access information from hotel guest registries
anytime they want.
Trafficking.
Ontario Innkeepers Act of 18, victims. I believe it's 85.
We need some more power for the police in this area.
Wrong, maybe 95, 1895. And they're required to provide for your horse. They must provide a stable and hay and water for your horse. Required to.
If we can,
with your room rate included.
You know, if we don't
bring
have
your horse the next time you go
to
to a hotel.
And I understand, you know, people check into a hotel, maybe they don't want their information shared, but at the end of the day, if they have nothing to hide, then I don't see what the concern is.
At the end of the day, I don't see what the concern is. No, the law has already existed for 125 years, approximately.
Foster care who are
you already know this when you go into the hotel. If you didn't, it's posted on the inside of the hotel room door. Every hotel room door in Ontario.
And I think it's a great thing. I think
it's a great thing. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just want to take away people's liberties.
We need to have stronger sentencing. I'm hoping this is a building block in a better direction.
They must reveal it to the police anytime they want.
The Premier,
this is what happens. People register under a false name, right? This is traditionally all the way up to like what, the 60s, 70s,
could you
maybe
expand
the 80s.
on
then
your estimation of
Officer Obvious and Detective Diddler get pissed off. He's about to tell them how to break the law. Not even close.
Well, I mean, in terms of Canada, it's only
with the advent of credit cards
Nova Scotia,
and just asking for a driver's license, you can't register under a fake name anymore.
A great deal of money, a lot of travel, and a lot of
Why
events.
are you so mad, Detective Diddler?
You have those three things combined, that becomes a very attractive area for trafficking. You know, it's just been growing by leaps and bounds, and you also have so many kids who end up on the streets, and one of the places they end up going is Ontario, Toronto, because of the fact that it's easier to get by there.
Get by.
Right, so big lights, bright city, that sort of thing. People come here and find themselves.
Exactly. No, that's not what it is.
In the hands of
hear my words in the whispering. Yeah, now realize it.
Tell me about your experience about working with victims
tell the people a long time. Come here, because there's.
So I don't work in the area of rescuing victims, but I do a lot of work with Covenant House in terms of raising funds and raising awareness. A lot of my personal mission is to educate the public. So I'll go
as to how I'm right, and I think it works this way. But you looked up the law
last. I do different types of workshops, but I'm not on the front lines in terms of doing any rescue missions. I wish I was, but there's only so much I can do.
I understand that. So, you know, there's going to be parents out there.
Is that what you say to the girls that get murdered?
My kids.
Is that what you say to all the bodies floating down the lake out to the ocean?
Yes, we have.
Is that what you say?
Family, blah blah blah. Dispel that for me.
I can dispel that really easily. I spoke at a school of 9th graders, and in the presentation we talked about trafficking. And afterwards, I asked the teacher about a boy who was in the class because I noticed something in his body language. He was a 9th grade student who was under investigation for trafficking his classmates because within his household there was trafficking. So if you're sending your kids to school and you think that they're safe from trafficking, you're wrong. You know, it's every kid is at risk. It doesn't look like a kid who's being ripped off the streets, right? Kids are being groomed by their friends, in that case, one of their peers, and the next thing you know, they're pulled into that household and they're being trafficked in plain sight. And that's what it looks like. It's every kid is at risk, whether, you know, it's a child from an affluent family or a poor family. exploiters don't pay attention to that. They look for a child that they think is vulnerable, and a child who's 13 years old, because that's the average beginning age, has no tools to fight that. We as parents have to be aware and watch for the signs and make sure that we know where our kids are going and who they're associating with, and make sure that we're speaking to them about it as if it can happen to them, because it can.
As if it can happen.
Marnie, I appreciate you coming on today. Thank you again. I appreciate your perspective.
Thank you so much.
That is Marnie Grunman, who is an author and an advocate helping homeless youth. All right, stay with us. When we come back later in the program, actually, we're going to talk about whether or not the Prime Minister has failed in his responsibility to defend human rights around the world, in particular in China with the Muslim minority there. Have we failed as a country
more them there than white people
to be able to stand up for human rights? Have we failed as consumers? Are we more interested in cheap handsets and inexpensive big screen TVs?
Well, we found out all those semiconductors came from here, so hold on a second, sir.
Fascinating discussion on that coming up. But in our next segment, it is going to be your opportunity to weigh in on whether or not you are hot to shop. We have seen what's happened in York region, for example, at the beginning of our program. By the way, if you missed the beginning of the program, this program is available as a podcast to download wherever you get your favorite podcast. At the beginning of the program, we talked about what is happening at a home sense in Vaughan and concerns about region hoppers and people who are just desperate to get out there and shop. Are you hot to shop? 416-870-6400. My name is Alan Carter. This is Global News Radio.
Let's pretend I was going to ask you to marry me.
Ooh, okay.
So what kind of ring would you have in mind?
Well, something simple.
Me without trying. I'm finding these stories in the mainstream news. So as much as I bitch that the mainstream media don't seem to give a fuck.
Representative of our everlasting love.
The information is available. I didn't just dream this up one day. I wonder if these bad things are happening out there.
Find that perfectly unique ring for that perfectly unique person at Spence Diamonds. Open now in Vaughan, Scarborough, and Mississauga.
Can you believe in this day and age, many real estate agents still knock on doors and cold call to try to get business? Well, not Frank, Leo, and Associates. Rob, he wanted to leave.
What is his I would like to know the explanation.
Considered moving to several areas in rural Ontario. He contacted Frank, Leo, and Associates of RE/MAX for guidance and assistance with achieving his goal. Rob was put in contact with trusted partners all over Ontario and was able to find the ideal home near the water at his price. Now Rob needed to sell. Knowing his neighbor had a larger, more renovated home, he's concerned that what could he get for his? Frank, Leo, and Associates of RE/MAX put the multi-million-dollar guaranteed home selling system to work, and in only 1 week sold the property with multiple offers at an unbelievable $40,000 more than the neighbor's larger renovated home. Frank, Leo, and Associates. Call 416-917-5466. That's 416-917-LION. Or go online to getleo.com. That's getleo.com and start packing.
I'm Alex Pearson, and here's a look at this week's Your GTA. Help feed hungry children in the GTA with Toonies for Tummies by donating at participating grocery stores or online at groceryfoundation.com. And for a more in-depth look into Canada's racialized communities, go to globalnews.ca/perspectives. You can also visit 640toronto.com for more community news by clicking Your GTA.
Cleantha Research in Mississauga is enrolling participants for a clinical research study. Female participants must be of non-childbearing potential, and male participants must be vasectomized or clinically infertile. If you're 18 to 65 years of age, in general good health, and a non-smoker, you may be eligible. Qualified participants will be compensated up to $2,625. Visit at cleantha.com. At cleantha.com.
Lightning, one of nature's most powerful forces. And now, OLG has taken lightning and
they're
turned it into
a drug that will damage children, obviously. It's either a teratogen
$25,000 jackpot keeps growing until it's won. Buy a ticket on the spot, and you could win.
I wasn't expecting that.
Play the new Lightning Lotto in store today. You don't strike the jackpot strikes you.
Health Minister is facing questions about the vaccination rollout plan. We get more from Richard Southern.
Remains confusion about the vaccination rollout because we learned yesterday that it's going to differ depending on the 34 public health units across the province. But Health Minister Christine Elliott said today the details will be on the way soon.
Those plans are being finalized now. We want to reassure everyone that they will know the plan. It's soon to be made public as soon as it's finalized. And they will then know how they receive their vaccine, how to do it, and when they will have their appointment.
Green Party leader Mike Schreiner says there needs to be more clarity on this. Last Friday we had
10,000 years, eh? 10,000 years? 10,000 years. And those are cotton fibers. They don't make you itch or give you cancer. They're cotton fibers.
Nobody's told us what to do. So the level of confusion is unacceptable. I'm Richard Southern.
You're listening to Toronto 680 News. It's now 12:35. Well, principals across this province are now facing some increased pressure because of the pandemic, leading to, naturally, higher stress levels. And 680's Momin Qureshi has been going over a new survey.
Hey, you know why?
Because
everybody's on them to fucking follow the rules, and they don't want to, because they know how to tell these bigger kids better than their parents do.
Steve, and they looked at how principals are being affected in this pandemic. I had a chance to speak to Amy Kidder, who is the executive director, and she says one thing is for sure, stress levels are higher.
I think most interestingly, the principals who are running virtual schools, and some of those virtual schools have 40,000 students in them, they were the most likely, the majority of them said.
You're fucking lying. There's no 40,000 student schools. So how the fuck do you get a 40,000 student virtual school? Get the fuck out of here. So I gotta plan these.
Now, one thing the report also talked about is that principals say that they're having a hard time enforcing physical distancing, that they feel like the physical distancing police, but in some cases,
yeah, you are stupid. Wow,
really feel like
wow, you are dumb. All the times over the decades where principals and teachers have acted like they are the police, and they'll yell at you about laws and shit that don't exist. Oh, we don't want to feel like the police. Well, you fucking tried to for the last 50, 100 years or so.
Schools remain open. Reporting live, I'm Momin Qureshi.
680 News Time, 12:37. Ontario's police watchdog is investigating after a 45-year-old man was shot and killed by officers in downtown Toronto. It happened around 3:30 this morning inside a Toronto community housing building near Jarvis and Dundas. Interim police
on George
James
Street.
Raymer says officers had been called
What's
there
on George
for
Street? The Bootleggers, the Seton House Annex, 354 George Street, then 5 rooming house apartment buildings, whatever they are. Which one's Toronto Community Housing?
Went into a third-floor unit
and the Grand, is it the Grand?
With the president. And then was
Not
taken
the,
to
just the
hospital
Grand
where
on
he
the
was
side. There's
pronounced
another
dead.
one. There's a hotel right there.
SIU has assigned 5 investigators and 3 forensic investigators to the case, which involves 2 subject officers and 7 witness officers.
Wow.
680 News Time, 12:37.
He's not going to jail for nothing.
Toronto's only all-news radio station. This is 680 News. Well, York Regional Police.
He's not going to jail for nothing. Guarantee it.
That illegal cannabis products are being sold to underage teens
at
a convenience store in Markham. Now, police seized $10,000 worth of illegal products from Angus Glen Convenience on Kennedy Road, just south of Major Mac. Among the items seized, edibles that look similar to candy products that are made for and marketed to children. Investigators also say many of the products were not adequately labeled. The store manager,
the RCMP, I wish I had a copy of this to pull up. I could look it up. We'll see if I feel like that in a minute. The RCMP does reports on organized crime.
Don't have access to products.
Asian ABC, Asian-based crime. What do they call us? ABOC, ABOC. Oh yeah, that's funny. ABO, ABOC, Aboriginal-based organized crime.
Business editor Chris McCusker explains the beta version of the audio app is currently invite-only, and most members are celebrities, including Tesla founder Elon.
Oh wow. And it says in there that the Warriors are known, even among indigenous gangs, that we do not roll in youth. I can only think of one incident where they, in the media, they said they charged while they were raiding a whole bunch of people, they arrested 2 youths, age 16, but both of them were in violation of their, I think it was probation or whatever their supervised release was, which implies they're already in the mix somehow. Wasn't like somebody just went and scooped them off the street. Hey, come join our gang, like you fucking pussies out here do. And I don't feel like mentioning your names because you think it makes you more famous. I have marijuana. I'm not quite ready to light it. Hold on.
Ovens? Stay at home? What's going on in the north? Look into that. But Jim's on line 3 with a final thought about whether you are raring to go shopping.
Good afternoon, sir. You got to love the shaming of these fellow Ontario citizens. These are going to be the same people that are going to be begging for people to come up when everything opens up. So I don't really like that. The mayor, I think a mayor or a politician in Vaughan, Bevel.
You consider it hypocritical, right?
Sure about his first name, but I think his approach is really good. He's not shaming everyone. He's not telling everyone to follow the rules, but he's trying to get to a sense of normalcy here. We can't keep moving the goalposts. Oh, 2 more weeks. We have to get to the point where it's a sustainable open. If everything was open,
because you play soccer as a good Canadian, right?
On an average day in February, it'd be like a few people in that store.
It's because we've created a pressure point, right? That's your point, right? We've created a pressure point because we have an unequal opening. So,
yeah, like if Costco can be open with 300 people, I think a bookstore in Toronto that would on a normal, Tuesday today, a normal Tuesday during the day would have one person in that store
at a time. Whoa, we're on the same level.
I feel for the small stores, the small guys who are like, well, how come that a Costco down the street is open and you can get your scented candle there, but here in my tchotchke shop, I can't have a single person in. I don't think that makes sense.
You get all your business owner friends to go line up in the lineup and take all fucking day at that Costco doing nothing. You occupy the Costco and buy nothing.
Aside from the Costco's and the Fortinos, which can get a significant amount of people, but I've walked into HomeSense before, and on an average day.
What do you mean you don't have the Royale quilted plus 64 double rolls? But I need that one specific. Just argue with them. All these business owners, a lot of them are old too, right? Well, they got like their father or somebody that can send into the store. Seriously, that's how you handle this shit. You occupy that shit. Occupy it. Keep them fucking busy.
Having a few people inside of them, and especially
if let Costco corporate figure out they ain't making money fucking people over. Hey, who does Costco sell stuff to?
Thanks everybody for calling. I always appreciate hearing from all you peeps out there. Thank you
all the
again.
Regular ass people that go shopping there.
Keep well and make sure that you keep in touch.
They're probably the type to stock up on stuff and stay home anyway.
Handle. If you'd like to send me a DM on Alan, ALAN.Carter @globalnews.ca is my personal email, and please get in touch if you got something on your mind. If you had something you wanted to say,
your parents watch, man. What year were you born?
When we come back, just a fascinating conversation about China and Canada and what happened in Ottawa yesterday with that motion to condemn China's treatment of the Uyghur minority.
That's
back
great.
in a moment with a fascinating discussion with a professor from the Rotman School of Business right after Traffic with Lori Turcotte.
We've got some new problems on the 410 northbound on the collectors.
I still haven't seen as many white
There's a
people.
stalled vehicle sitting in the left lane. No delay to worry about though. Problems on the 404 northbound.
You telling me white people are the majority here still doesn't fly in common sense.
Daytime construction on the go on the 401 westbound. The collectors at Leslie. The right lane is closed.
What they're trying to confuse
on-ramp to the
all the
westbound
people you see in power in positions of authority.
A little bit of good news. Northbound Strawn, that has been reopened at Fleet. That crash has been all cleared away. Problems still ongoing though at Shepherd and Birchmount. Another collision getting cleaned up at Millwood and Overlea. Foodland Ontario reminds you to enjoy local all winter. Looking out for Ontario Blue when you shop. After all, good things grow in Ontario, paid for by the Government of Ontario.
I'm Lori
Turcotte, Global News Radio 640 Toronto, traffic.
I had to grow up. Ish. Funky Brewster. Mom, you put on 2 different shoes. Haven't done that in a while. Still works. New series Thursday, March 4th, only on WNOW.
So, they turn off the heat and the hot water and all this. They turn down the hot water while I leave it running. They turn off the heat, I turn on the electric and open up the window. And fucking everything they try to do to fucking hurt me, it ends up costing them more. And what do? They bitch at the government. Government gives them money. They get millions of dollars to like basically hand it to them, donate it to them to run this building. It's a very unusual situation here. Privately owned building. All sorts of government subsidies. I don't know what that is. Sound like a concrete drill. Oh dear, I'll feel better once I get this in me. Oh, you have to be standing with somebody for 15 minutes before you get sick. Well, aside from that not being true, it takes 15 minutes to get to the lobby of this fucking building. And they do everything possible to make other people sick, and then they want sympathy when they get sick. Remember, all these idiots in charge of turning the switches off for the things I'm talking about are sitting at ground level all day next door to a uranium plant. If I was going to get cancer, I'd already have it. It runs in my family. Radiation poisoning? Well, my hair ain't fall out yet. I should be okay. Ah, but this plant, we don't have any sound, eh? Oh, do we? Is this working? I'm not gonna bother if there's no sound. I'll start over, right? Oh, come on, jam up my internet. Take me off my own Wi-Fi. Come on. All right. Browser crash. What time is it? So if the province comes on, it'll be coming on in about 15 to 20 minutes. 15 minutes ostensibly. 14. No, my sinuses work good.
Get in the way of my will, 'cause if you do, that's the day you get killed.
So all this crap I'm blowing up my nose and shit, coughing, all this shit, that's essentially because of the bad air. They're constantly trying to give black people the worst possible conditions. Dirty water, lead smelters, lead water pipes, lead paint. Why are all the heaters in this building painted? You're not supposed to ever paint a heater, a radiator, anything, ever. They're all painted over and over and over with fucking lead paint. Now, if it has been painted with lead paint, or if the lead paint's been used anywhere, the best thing you can do is paint over it. Except for heaters. Heaters should be ripped right out of the wall and replaced at that point. Don't wire brush it off. Paint over it. Bearing in mind, we still make leaded gasoline for airplanes. Airplanes got no catalytic converters. In the nature of an airplane, the engine is much, much larger than 600 cubic inches instead of 200.
Tell them that the squad's here. Give up on the plan, fam. Every year is our year. Top tier toe tagging, coke magnum, boat banging, park running yard after somersault of Volkswagen. No bragging, I'm the hottest hopper on the table still. Stock shady bill, it never drops like a lemon bill. Play the filling dash while I jump a trillion hurdles. We can't share tracks because we run in different circles. Journals full of classics, livers full of greatness. Got so many bitches, I might give some to the neighbors. The realest in the business, all filled with imitators. This the rawest fucking course, bro. You dealing with the great. Hey, yo, fuck the whole straight bars and still make it sound tight.
I didn't finish with
what
that.
a real one sound like. Cloud nine and rappers hit him with a ground strike. On the one way, we giving them a round play.
Well, there's a way, but don't get in the way of my will. 'Cause if you do, that's the day you get killed. 'Cause the game is your drill. 'Cause the game is for real. Every bar's like a bullet in your brain will get spilled. And the chamber is filled to make a whack real tight. They appetite. Let's spin this shit rapid fire. This your next reminder. If you pass the wire, I'll blow up your close up. You a massive liar. The assassin tired. Put it up, they kill it up. Wait. They suck it in a cupcake, fill it. Tie your ass up to the duct tape. Stick it to your face till your fake like some subway Hey yo, fuck a hook, straight bars and still make it sound tight. TRA, what a real one sound like. Cloud nine and rappers hit him with a ground strike. On the one way, we giving them a round tight.
Vandal, hip hop sweats and chill sandals.
Sitting in the hot ass room with my hand on the Mac.
Don't on the whole team, shut up. Broad doses make us dope kids roll up. It's so way to grow up, but I gotta reach over to Joe King knows when the smoke still go up. Cold nights, I rock thermals, I'm nocturnal. Parole life, we hot pearls, the block's fertile. Hot pearls like slots, circling crop circles. Shots burrow when a cop's not hot inferno. Crawl through the depths where they won't protect you. Check you with all due respect.
Hey yo, fuck a hook, straight bars and still make it sound tight. Ain't spoke with a real one sound like.
You realize what that is? They came up with all their verses like, well, we need a hook. They came up with all their verses like, we need a hook. Fuck a hook. I know I gotta add more tunes to this playlist or something. I've tried to avoid getting copyright strikes. Apparently Madonna's the only one I can't get away with playing. Me dancing and singing to Madonna is not allowed on the internet. Not allowed. But I think it's because of Weird Al.
Smack the bitch in the face. Hail Mary full of grace. Smack the bitch in the face. Name another rapper that's as bad as bars. In Toronto making hits like I was Alamar. Saute chicken, green peppers at the salad bar. Cops still profile niggas without that
Saute chicken at a salad bar.
Had 20 niggas, I'm last man standing. My bitch on the runway like a plane landing.
I'm using this song for a couple years now. Just noticed now. You don't get chicken at a salad bar. If there's chicken in the salad.
My mom's brother had that
what kind of salad bar is
feel like you could be as fresh as Prince, but I had that fucking well. I met a muscle car.
I've had chicken salad. There was no sauce.
Fucking polysporin. Niggas.
I'm too high to vibe out to that one. This will work. This will work. Oh, there's puddles everywhere. I swear, people made the problem worse since yesterday to the date. It's about. The problem is I'm anemic. I'd be out there. At this point, the problem is I simply can't keep up with the picture right But in a way, it kind of makes it apparent that somebody cleared. If they were all perfectly cleared, you wouldn't realize walking first thing in the morning that somebody cleared it all. You get to certain spots where there's huge puddles, and it becomes apparent the other intersections were cleared by someone.
I got niggas in the front ready, you ready to split you down the middle just like a blunt, so walk but not with me. The Lord will not forgive me for shaking up your kidney. Cause you faking it dizzy, my niggas lippy and shifty, pissy, Billy, Iggy, Shiggy. We don't give up wiggy, what Billy, Millie trying to kill the city like track in the 80s. I'm ready to burn in Hades. My dog's infected with rabies, not even my barber can pay me. You niggas is crazy. Fuck up, fight and learn what these talents do. You can be as cuckoo as you want, I'm unbalanced too. Fixing the garden, I'm coming to batter you. Massacre splatter you, run you off of your avenue while I laugh at you. The chronics are dizzy, demented ruptures. My figment of the preferred igneous, run you up the district.
If you rep the team down, know you'll set me high. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. You ain't from bad, yeah, best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from. If you rep the team down, know you'll set me high. Big shots, nigga, rep your block. You ain't from bad, yeah, best be holding your tongue. The bloody north where the soldiers is from. Star City with me blast shots. Then in the last block, hit man mentality, cause all of us niggas ass rise. I'm a big game, always in Philly cash crops. Money growing trees, just turn the coke, leaf to crack rock. Find a block, get a key, keep it padlocked. And it's the animals, watch your dog, jealous rats talk. We pack blocks, smoke weed, we here like Sasquatch. Fuck my niggas, dog, your son to take you out of the sandbox. Better yet, I crash your plane, spit on the black box. Because he's highly trained on cocaine, higher for that plot, we that hard. You with more clips, it's for insects, the same equivalent as a bed nail in the insects, ridiculous.
This is dumb, but this is what the police. This is dumb, but this is what the police say. We sell illegal cigarettes. They're not illegal, they're illicit. It's another matter. To to buy guns. We sell marijuana. That we already have the guns. It's just tobacco we didn't have, and we sell marijuana to. Okay, hold on. We apply for medical permits, then overgrow them to sell the marijuana to buy cocaine. I'm not sound too common. When you just go to a cocaine dealer and be like, hey, if you give me some of that, I could sell it, come back with the money. Wouldn't that be way simpler? Like, the police here are out of their fucking minds there.
Most cats is sweet like licorice. I eat they food fast, smoke niggas similar to cigarette. You dig me at? Better catch me, burn the ass up.
I'm gonna read you the fucking article. I got the paper here. The one with the picture of the Tech 9. Remember, 44 people, $45 million, 4 handguns. Yeah, Tech 9's a handgun.
I'm from the city where they keep it gully. Pretty niggas robbing out of city niggas, homie. Chanting trees, niggas screaming by the OGs. All we do is hold G's. When you please, you small time like the little leagues. See niggas bleed when they fuck with me. Turn like a track star when they fuck with me. I ain't buck shot, but I buck shots, homie.
This guy.
Hollows for the cops only. It's all real in the hood. They call me abs and still. Beside my abs, they're still. I make you feel still in your abs for real. Cook coke like a gourmet chef, perfection. See my flow stack up, erection. Not right. Shine me, getting love for hoes. Attention, we don't love them hoes. Lazy spark the drill, double crack the mo. Niggas don't want war cause they lack the toast. Yeah,
I wonder if I can get CPAC audio on this.
Big shots, nigga, wreck your block. Holding your tongue, the bloody north. Where the soldiers is from.
You gotta understand, the people in this country have access to every possible way of getting on the internet, and they don't want anything they do to go out on the internet. So when I can type up CBC, I'll pull up 2-3 dozen stations. I can check them all, they don't work. But the fact that they're listed here means somebody keeps submitting them over and over and over to the database. I'm talking about this internet radio app here. Any internet radio can pick it up. And it worked. It's been almost a year since. This was February 19th, I think, as I recall. $2019 something. Old white man plays piano in church, 2019, ...